So, good evening, everyone. Here we are for another of our series of interviews in preparation for the Bitcoin Fest that's coming up on Saturday. My name is Victoria Jones, and we're streaming from my YouTube channel from satoshishpage.com. And I'm delighted to introduce to you today Mick Garton, who is the chairman of the Carlton Town Football Club, who is their football club is kindly hosting us for this event. And in fact, it's the fact that our meetup group has recently been relocated to their football club that has actually inspired the event, because I believe a number of the footballers have no idea about Bitcoin and they've been asking questions at the bar, what's this Bitcoin thing? So I thought, Bitcoin is always interested in the perspective of people who know nothing about Bitcoin, who've suddenly been introduced to it. And so this is a great opportunity for us to include the chairman of the football club and see how things are going from his point of view. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Mick. Mick, can you tell us from your perspective how this event has come about and your participation in it?
Basically, from our point of view, we're first of all, thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk on behalf of the club. It's something we've never done before. We're obviously providing the facilities for the day. You've been very kind. The Bitcoin guys have been very kind in taking up sponsorship of the packages, and we've in return provided our facilities free of charge. And we've got from our point of view, as part of the afternoon, we've got Frank Clark coming down, the ex-Nottingham Forest European Cup winner, manager and chairman. He lives locally. He's a legend, both in Nottingham and in Newcastle. And the fact that we've got a team coming down from the northeast on Saturday as well fits in well. So Frank's coming down, and I've just literally come from a planning meeting at the ground, actually, just organising, just making sure we're on board with everything that we need to do, because it's, as I say, it's the first event of this kind that we've ever held, and I think everybody at the club's really excited, and it's a first for us, and we just want to make sure everything's okay for you guys, and the day you've got lined up is amazing. I've got to say, I've just been going through the running order, and what a lineup you've got. People, I think you've got a magician coming later on in the day. You've got music. It's hopefully all fitting around the football match, and a home game for Carlton. So what a day! Really excited.
Yeah, sounds amazing. So which team are they going to be playing in the afternoon?
We're playing Ash. I'm trying to pronounce it right because I'm terrible at is it Ashington? I'm not the best with pronouncing names. Let me just make sure I get the pronunciation right. We're playing Ashington from the northeast, and I believe they're right. They're in the top half of the table. So in fact, I think they're quite near the top. So it's going to be a big clash. They're a decent side, and as I say, Frank Clark comes from that neck of the woods. You were asking me how we'd got involved with the Bitcoin thing. The way it actually happened was we got a guy who came onto the committee, a guy called Mitch. He's been one of our sponsors for the last couple of years. His company sponsored a bar, and they've got the sort of naming rights to the bar. And he's done quite a lot around the club. He's become a very popular figure, and he got us involved with the Bitcoin. It was, let's get these people down here. They're looking to get involved with the community, and there's not many clubs doing this. We could be one of the first clubs on board with this. And I've got to say, since we've got on board and met Chris, who's a great fella as well, and it's opened my eyes to something I know very little about, and I'm on a learning curve with it, as I'm sure a lot of other people on the committee are. But Chris's enthusiasm sort of piled into everybody else, and him and Chris have been the driving force behind this, and just give me the opportunity to say thank you to both of them for all the work they've put into this. And I think their dream of getting this at the grounds, hopefully from their perspective, has certainly become a reality. And I know they're absolutely buzzing for Saturday. I really. I met both of them a few days ago, and the enthusiasm they've got is amazing.
Yeah, it's infectious, isn't it? And of course, you know, when you meet someone with that level of enthusiasm, it's hard not to be influenced by it, really. And as you say, you know, you've gone from just being well, having Mitch involved on your board, and then suddenly, you know, you've got this big event on your ground. You must be reeling in shock, not knowing quite what hit you.
I think the fact is that you've got so much going on. I mean, I looked at the lineup, and the fact that I know we've got the breakfast cobs and the coffee and teas lined up early doors, but I just looked at the schedule, and you know, the number you've got the speakers, and there's so much planning gone into it. And as I say, the fact that you've got the music and the magician later on in the day, and hopefully quite a few are going to watch the football as well, and then I think there's some food laid on later in the day. It's just, I just know how much work's gone into it. You know, we've been party to that, but as I say, that they're the two guys that have done. Certainly, I'm sure there's others as well, but they're the two guys that have fronted up from my perspective. It's just something different. It's something we've never done before, and I think, you know, as a club, we're just really excited about it, and we're just praying and hoping the weather holds, and you know, that uh, that certainly, the last thing we need is the game to get called off with the bad weather. But there's a lot of work
Oh,
gone
that
on
would be
to
a shame, yeah.
working on the pitch. But you know, just from the weather, it's just been the worst winter that I can remember in terms of rain. So, but no,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody's buzzing. We're really excited, and like I say, the fact you've got so many people. Are you speaking yourself on Saturday?
I am.
What's your
I
role
am
on
speaking.
Saturday?
Yes, I am speaking myself, and I was just wondering, actually, has anyone told you about the digital scoreboard that we've organised for the football players? Has Chris told you about that?
He mentioned it, but I think the meeting was at the back end, and it didn't. I didn't fully get the full picture, but yeah, he did mention it, and I think it was at the back end of the meeting. And so, if you could, yeah, if you could tell everybody about that, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, well, on the on this YouTube channel, if you go into the live interviews, there's one by Chris Moss where we demonstrate how the scoreboard is going to work. So
Right.
the idea is going to be that they're going to have, well, step back a bit. When people have bought their tickets, they've been given the option to make a donation, and those donations are actually going to be funding Bitcoin wallets, which will be placed around the pitch during the game. And so people will
Okay.
be able to download small amounts of Bitcoin and then use these to tip the players based on which players they think are doing the best. And there'll be a digital scoreboard which will show their rankings and indicate to everyone else how well they're doing. So it's just a bit of fun. We've not really seen it done before, but it's just an example of different ways in which the technology can work. It's hard to explain if you've not seen it before. Like I say, the interview was a good opportunity to kind of demonstrate to people how it will work. But on the day, you'll be able to see how it's worked. So there'll be QR codes that people can scan in order to, you know, tip the players, to see how well they're doing. You look a bit scared.
No, I'm fascinated. I'm taking it all in. I think the managers will be interested to hear this. It
Yeah,
might give the lads it might give the lads a little bit of an incentive to you know, to put in a big performance. It's fascinating.
yeah.
It's something I think that will capture people's imaginations. So yeah, I'll keep my eyes on that, definitely. That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
well, it's worth getting the managers to look at the interview before they go, just so they've got an idea of how it works. Because I talk, you know, Chris talks us through how it will work, and he demonstrates it with the QR code, and you can see how the players are moving. Obviously, they haven't set it up with your players' names yet, because I think he was waiting for Chris to pass them along. But you'll be able to see the idea of how it works. And then we've got Coach Carbon, who actually teaches people about how Bitcoin works by using football games. So there's an interview with him. If you look on the list of live stream interviews, so Coach Carbon, he talks a little bit about how he became interested in Bitcoin, and so he's now got a company called Bitcoin Ballers, which actually teaches people how Bitcoin works using different Bitcoin games. So there's quite a lot of football related activities that are involved in this as well, but it might not be clear from the schedule, just how much is going on. That's one of the reasons why I did this series of interviews, just so that people are getting some idea, can have an idea of everything that's involved, because you're absolutely right. Even from our perspective as Bitcoiners, a lot of us go to conferences all the time and we've never done anything like this or seen anything like this, so we're all really excited about it, and really happy that we've got a place to do it. And I remember at the beginning, Mitch getting very excited and telling us about Frank Clark visiting. So how did that come about? Could you share that with us?
Yeah, what we try and do, unfortunately, with the weather this season, we haven't had as many Saturday games at Stoke Lane as we would have liked to have had. We've had quite a lot of postponements, and hence the comments I made earlier on about the weather. But what myself and Boatsy, who's a commercial manager, try and do before, certainly before Saturday games, wherever we can, we try and get a guest speaker to come, and I do a little interview in the bar prior to the game. So this season we've had David Milnes, the international umpire, who's a current international cricket umpire. In the last 12 months, we've had the likes of Colin Barrett, European Cup winner with Forest, Gary Birtles, European Cup winner with Forest. We've had Lee Wood, boxing world champion, and we've had a number of people from the world of sport.
Wow.
Have come to the ground in the last something we introduced last season, and it's worked really, really well. There's a whole host of names I could reel off. Gary Mills, another European Cup winner, John O'Hare. It has been quite Forest based, if I'm honest. The reason for that is we've got a lot of Forest supporters that we tend to switch fixtures with Forest. So when we're at home, Forest are away. So we have got a lot of we do share the fan base to a certain extent with Forest. So, but we have had people from other clubs as well. Certainly, we've got a close relationship with the cricket club. But on a Saturday, as I say, every Saturday we do try and get various people and old legends from Carlton Town as well. We've had players.
Wow, yeah.
Players come back that were heroes at the club, and they'll come back and speak, and we just do like a little 20-minute interview and take questions from the floor. And Frank Clark, somebody who's been before. Ian Storey-Moore, who's another Nottingham Forest legend. He's actually a regular at the ground, so he comes down. But Frank came last season. He went down really, really well, and he's agreed to come back. Boatsy spoke to him and said, "Look, we've got a big event this day. We've got Ashington coming, who are from the northeast, and the Bitcoin lads have asked, and so that's good." And I'll tell you what, I mentioned it a couple of times earlier in the interview, but really fascinated the fact you've got a magician. We did that. We actually had a magician as a special guest, Woods as well, and that went down really, really well with the players after the game. A magician going around the tables. It was something we'd never done, and it went down really well. It was fascinating how what these guys do. I think it's where the guy, his ringer disappeared off his finger, and it was in somebody's pocket. It was, and I'm like, wow, how did you do that?
Yeah, they become very good.
And I think that's a great. Singers. The singer will be good as well, but the magician that really captured my imagination when I heard you got a magician on as well. That was really good.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate actually, because the cost of the magician has actually been donated by one of our members, because we were discussing that it would be nice to have a magician, and we didn't know if we could afford it, and someone piped up and said, "I'll pay for that." And so again, the fact that everyone's kind of coming together. I mean, the speakers are all giving their time for free. There are a lot of people who are I mean, the musician will perform for free, but will be rewarded by people offering donations. So it's very much a collaborative effort in order for everyone to make it a success. And that's a really unique perspective as well, because often there are a lot of Bitcoin events where people are charging big ticket money in order for people to turn up. But what we really wanted to do with this one was really involve the local population, because really, the idea, I know you don't know very much about Bitcoin, but really the idea behind it is we want to use it as a transactional currency. And certainly the talk that I'll be giving on Saturday will be very much focused on how Bitcoin solves poverty. And that leads me beautifully on to my next question, actually, because one of the things that sparked my interest when Mitch first told us about the football club was the first thing I heard about it was your food bank initiative. Because, he told us about it. And Chris, he said, here's a QR code, send them some sats for their food bank. And so I thought that was great. And, obviously, a number of years ago, no one had ever heard of a food bank, and now they seem to be everywhere. And so the fact that you've got one associated with your club, I thought was really interesting. So could you tell us a little bit about that, how that came about, and what you're doing with it at the moment?
First of all, I just on the follow up to your comments, I just want to point out that our club is mainly run by volunteers as well, and a lot of the speakers that we get down there on a Saturday, and I'm including the ex-European Cup winners and that, they all come for nothing. They do it to help the club,
Amazing.
the local community. So the club is mainly run on volunteers. Obviously, you've got to pay at our level of football. We're semi-professional, so we do have to pay players and coaches and stuff, because that's what you have to do at this level. Otherwise, you'd be bottom of the league and suffering many relegations. But the majority people who are involved with the club do it on a voluntary basis, and so I can totally relate to what you've said about getting the people to come to this, and that's basically the way we operate. In terms of the food banks, basically, because we're a community club, what we try and do, there's two things that we can do during the course of the season. At the end of the season, we allow our pitch to be used by so many charities. We have a window at the end of the season where we allow so many fundraisers to take place at the ground. So we give the facilities to local charities, which we've done again this season, up until when the groundsman then comes and starts preparing the pitch for the next season. But the other one is the food bank, and obviously during COVID and those difficult times that we suffered badly, as a club as well, with obviously no revenue coming in, and but also the supporters club came up with initiatives to keep the club going. But also at the same time, we came and said, what can we do for the local community? And we spoke to the local council and councillors that we were friendly with at the ground, and they let us know that our people were suffering in the area, and some people are embarrassed to ask for help, and they said the one thing you could help us with is basically a food bank, and if you could do a collection every so often. So what basically happened, we do one now at the start of the season, a game early at the season, and we announce it in advance. They normally let us know what kind of products they're looking for. I think this one, it's we're going to put a list out. I think we've had a list come through. We're going to put a list out on the website in the next day or so. But it could be anything like toilet rolls, marmalade, jam, vegetables. It could be absolutely anything. And we do one at the start of the season. We do a Christmas one. And then we do one towards the end of the season, which is what we're doing now. So we make a point now, and it's an ongoing process where we do three. We involve the local community, local councillors. We put an appeal out, and some of the well, every time we get a decent amount. But even away supporters have bought bags full of food when we've seen it on the website. So it's just something we do. We're a community club, like I've said. The big initiatives, what we can do is, one is let our pitch be used at the end of the season to help charities, and two is we can do that during the course of the season, and I know how much it's appreciated, because I've seen the responses we've had to that, and I think on Saturday we thought it was a good thing, the fact that we've got the Bitcoin people there, and we'd normally get an attendance for that game of around probably 170, 180. But on Saturday, obviously, with your guys all coming down, and hopefully there's going to be around the 300 mark. So from that point of view, more people come in, more donations can be made, and hopefully we can get a decent amount of food together to help those that are suffering with this cost of living crisis. And it is real. It is out there, and it's and anything we could do to help that as a community football club, then we're more than happy to do so. And as long as I'm chairman, we'll continue to do so.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Have you had much feedback as to how much people have found this helpful?
Absolutely, yeah. We get a response from the food bank people who are based at Netherfield. We always get a response saying what we've raised and what it's done and all that type of thing. So yeah, we always get a response. It's not just taken and then we've forgotten about. We always get a response and describing. I can't remember the wording, but however many tins or whatever we raise, that they put a figure on it, and then they send us a little certificate email which we then put out on our website and let the supporters know, which is nice. But because there's nothing worse than donating and then not knowing where the money or the stuff's gone. So yeah, we've got an ongoing communication with the food bank people, so we know that it's like I said. The positive with that is on Saturday we'll put a list out of what food's wanted rather than just people bringing. Say it might be people bringing pasta, and it might be, oh, we've got loads of pasta. We don't need pasta. What do you need? Oh, we need toilet rolls. We need shampoo. We need this. We need that. We need soup. So we will put that out in the next 24 hours. What people are struggling with and that type of thing.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I know that was certainly something that touched me when Mitch and Chris put out the request, because, so often if you're donating to a charity that's a big organization, it just kind of ends up in, whatever their corporate finances are, but something that's actually being actively pursued by the local community. We all need to look after our own, don't we? And so I think that's, an amazing initiative, and really great to hear. Great to hear that you're doing that. And it's interesting, really. I know a lot of the people that I've interviewed on here and a lot of people I've spoken to, they don't really know that much about football. And I know you've already also said yourself you don't know much about Bitcoin, and it's just it seems like a great opportunity for people to kind of compare notes and help each other. Sometimes if you're intellectual, it's hard to find a way into the local communities. And so from our perspective, it's really great to try and find somewhere where these services are really needed. And so I think it'll be a great collaboration. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
We as a club are very community based. Like I said, myself and one of my colleagues, Dave Hodgson, went to meet the council. I think at the start of COVID, just before COVID, and we got into a situation where what can you do for us? What can we do for you? What can we do for the community? And basically, we've got a good relationship with the people, particularly from Gedling Borough Council, which is our borough, and we've stuck to everything that we said we'd do at the time in terms of the food bank, in terms of the charity. In terms of the charity work, and we've got a good set of players as well. I'll just give you an example. We're in a situation at the moment where the games that I mentioned to you earlier, the games have been called off because of the horrendous weather. So we got a memo from the league in March saying, look, because of the number of cancellations we've had at your ground over March, February, you've now got to play your games over the rest of March somewhere else, which was devastating for us because it meant we lost the revenue. But basically, get your pitch sorted out if you want to be playing there at April, which was harsh because we can't control the weather. But the one thing we did do is we were desperate to get the. We only lost the one game, which Baseford were kind enough to host for us down the road. But on Monday, God, the number of volunteers that turned up to make sure that game was on, sanding the pitch. We had some really heavy days before, and that was an appeal that we put out on the website. We got a lot of people turn up over the weekend. We had help from Trent Bridge and Southern Racecourse, who are our neighbours in terms of sporting facilities. And then, which was really nice, even the players had a whip round in the dressing room. before the game to they got together over £100 to buy drinks for all the volunteers that had turned up with forks and wheelbarrows and that, and to get the game on. So that just gives you an insight into the kind of club we are, and that's something that makes me proud to be chairman of this club. Like I say, I've been involved for a few years. I'm a local lad. I was born and bred in the area, so from a personal point of view, it's days like that make you proud to be the chairman of the club.
Yeah, I bet it does. I bet. Yeah. Proud daddy is probably a good metaphor, but yeah, you bet your heart was bursting with pride to witness all of that. It sounds amazing. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Well, we're trying to keep these interviews short and snappy because we've got a list of ones for people to watch. And so we're almost coming up to time. But thank you so much, Mick, for giving us some insight into the club. We're all really looking forward to the event on Saturday, and really appreciate that everything you're doing to try and make it a success for us. Without a roof and a PA system and somewhere to post our slides, whatever we do would be worth nothing. It's really facilitated something that's great, and we're all really looking forward to it. So thank you so much. And everyone who's watching on the live stream, if you haven't done already, please subscribe, please like and comment under the video, because it all helps the algorithm. We're still looking for subscribers. Haven't quite hit the 1,000 target that we're looking for Saturday, but you never know, we could suddenly have a run of subscribers in the run up to the event. Miracles do happen, but nevertheless, we are going to be live streaming on Saturday, so look out for that. And we have one more interview to do, which will be in 2 hours, and that will be with our main speaker, Ben Ark. So tune in again if you'd like to see that. So that's all for today, folks. Thank you so much, Mick, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you.